Thank you very much, my dear students. Today's class is nothing but continuation of the yesterday's class. Only a fragment is left over this. Yesterday, I classified, I told you the anatomy, neuroanatomy, and what is the importance of nervous system. It is the supreme system that controls all systems of the body. It is important for judgment. It is important for sensory functions. It is important for motor functions. It is important for memory and well-being of an individual. And already I have classified the anatomy depending upon the anatomical classification and functional classification. Anatomical classification I had given you, and functional classification I had given you voluntary and involuntary nervous system. Involuntary is otherwise called as autonomic nervous system, that is sympathetic and parasympathetic. So now we are going to cellular architecture. Yesterday I briefly discussed with you regarding the cellular architecture. The structural and functional unit of the human body is said. The structural and functional unit of the nervous system is also said. The cell present in the nervous system is called as neuron. It has to be supported by some cells. They are called supporting cells of the nervous system, neurons. They are called neuroglia. So already I showed you the diagram of neuron. These are all the dendrites. This is the axon coming from the base of the neuron cell body. This is called soma or perikaryon cell body. This is called axon hillock. This is the long tail. This is the axon. And these are sharp tree-like process. They are called dendrites. Now the central part is nucleus. This is nucleus. This is nucleolus. So the surrounding is cytoplasm. The cytoplasm of this one contains this granules. They are called Nissel's granules. This axon hillock is divided of Nissel granules. So this axon hillock is divided of Nissel granules. So neurons are classified depending upon the polarity. Multipolar, that means this is the multipolar neuron who has got more number of poles. Bipolar, it has got dendrite on one side and axon on another side. That is bipolar. And unipolar, only one. And pseudo-unipolar, actually it is a bipolar, but it resembles like a unipolar. That's why it is called as a pseudo-unipolar. That is one classification depending upon the poles. And another classification that is depending upon the, this is the polar classification, bipolar, pseudo-unipolar and unipolar. So unipolar, true unipolar and pseudo-unipolar. So this is one classification. According to the Golgi type 1 and Golgi type 2. And examples where the Golgi type 1 neurons are there and Golgi type 2 neurons are there. And amacrine neurons without axons, only dendrites. They are seen in retina. There is no axons for these neurons. They are called amacrine neurons. If anybody asks you what is the amacrine neurons, they have to tell they are amacrine neurons. They have no axons. Whereas for all other neurons, axons are there. These amacrine neurons, they have got only dendrites. They are seen only in retina. Now, functional classification. Depending upon the function of the neurons, they are classified. Sensory neurons present in sensory areas, motor neurons present in the motor areas, and autonomic neurons, they are present in autonomic nervous system. Autonomic nervous system is again divided into sympathetic and parasympathetic. So they are called sympathetic neurons and parasympathetic neurons. So this itself says neurons present in the entire central nervous system, is not similar. So motor neuron differs from sensory neuron, and sympathetic neurons differs from parasympathetic neurons, and also predominance of certain amount of neurons in a particular area is there, even though the other type of neurons are present in that area. So even though the other types of neurons are present in that area. Now these are the sensory neurons and motor neurons. So autonomic neurons, where they are present, sympathetic neurons, where they are present, I had given you in the PowerPoint presentation. Now at the end of this session, I want to send you the PowerPoint presentation. Now according to the shape, stellate, basket, fusiform, pyramidal. According to the size, macro neurons more than 7 micrometers in size, example bed cells, and micro neurons less than 7 micrometers in size, example granular type of cerebral cortex, they are found. Now stellate, basket, fusiform, pyramidal. I will show you. This is stellate neuron, this is fusiform neuron, this is basket neuron, this is pyramidal neuron. So this is the types of neuron depending upon the shape depending upon the polarity, depending upon the length, and depending upon the, what is the last one? Size, macro and micro. So this is the classification of neurons. Now we are going into neuroglial cells. They are supporting cells. There are 5 types. Number 1, astrocytes. They are abundant in number. They are star-shaped, concerned with nutrition of the nervous tissue. These are 2 types: protoscopic astrocytes and fibrous astrocytes. Now I want to show you the diagram of astrocytes where they are present. Now this is astrocyte, protoplasmic astrocyte and fibrous astrocyte. The shape of this protoplasmic astrocyte and fibrous astrocyte is entirely different. Both are associated with nutrition. This is the blood vessel where they are present. Blood vessel of the central nervous system where they are present. This is protoplasmic astrocyte. This shape is different. Whereas fibrous astrocyte, it gives a projections. So these dendrites in more in number in a fibrous type. This is fibrous type. This is protoplasmic type. Now, this is the oligodendrocyte. These are associated with myelin sheath formation. This is the myelin sheath covering the axon. This is a multipolar neuron. This is a multipolar neuron. This is a long axon. Yellow color is long axon. This is the axon terminal. Now, this is oligodendrocyte present by the side of the axon, and it gives process, and it is the myelin. It is associated with the myelin sheath tracts. This is the myelin sheath tracts. So the oligodendrocytes are concerned with myelin sheath formation. Myelin is essential. Only the neurons that has got myelin sheath. So if the axon is terminated, so it again regenerates. If the complete neuron is lost, there is no regeneration of neurons. If axon terminal is lost, it can be regenerated to a certain extent because union occurs between the cut ends. That is the regeneration. That is not the production of another neuron. So that is only the regeneration present in the axon. For that, myelin sheath is essential. For that, myelin sheath is essential. These are the microglia. These are small in shape. These are associated with phagocytic action of the nervous system. They are associated with phagocytic action of the nervous system. You compare the astrocytes, protoplasmic astrocyte, oligodendrocyte, and microglia. And microglia, they are named microglia because they are micro inside when compared with all other types of astrocyte. This is one type of astrocyte. This is another type of astrocyte. This is another type of astrocyte. This is another type of astrocyte. And Schwann cell is another type of astrocyte. This is the Schwann cell. This is the oligodendrocyte. This is the Schwann cell. Now these ependymal cells, they are present lining the spinal canal. They are lining the cavities of the central nervous system. For example, first ventricle is a cavity, second ventricle is a cavity, third ventricle is a cavity, fourth ventricle is a cavity. The spinal cord itself contains a central cavity, a canal that is called spinal canal. So all the cavities of the central nervous system are lined by this ependymal cell. They have got cilia and microvilli. They are responsible for propagation or movement of cerebrospinal fluid. Because of this, cilium and microvilli increases the area of the ependymal cell. This microvilli projections, they are nothing but cytoplasmic projections. They increases the site, absorbing site of the ependymal cell. So the indented heterochromatic nucleus here is the oligodendrocyte rounded is there. This is also a rounded or oval one. This is also a rounded one. Whereas microglia has got almost a oval nucleus. So the shape of the nucleus also differs in different astrocytes. So astrocytes, for example, astrocytes are there, oligodendrocytes are there, microglia are there, ependymal cells are there. So there are 5 types of neuroglial cells. Schwann cell is also another type of neuroglial cell. So these neuroglial cells support the neurons. So these neuroglial cells are not single one. There are 5 types. Each 5 type has got cytoplasmic differences, has got nuclear differences, has got different locations where they are present, have got different functions. They are all kept in this tabular form. In this one, I show you the tabular form. This is the tabular form. Types of neuroglial cells and characters. So protoplasmic astrocytes and fibrous astrocytes. Cell size is large. Oligodendrocyte medium, microglia small. You see, these are large. Oligodendrocyte medium, microglia small, oval. So this is the large one, medium one, small one. So shape. This is nothing but ependymal cell is nothing but a cubical one. The shape of the ependymal cell is like a cuboidal one. It's like a cuboidal or a square, tetrasquare. So length is more, width is less. So that is a tetrasquare. So all these things are kept in this tabular form. All these things are kept in the tabular form. This is the tabular form. Shape of the nucleus, oval light stain, small spherical dark stain. Oligodendrocyte nucleus is small spherical dark stain. I will show you. This is oligodendrocyte. This nucleus is small spherical and densely stained. This is large oval lightly stained. This is the nucleus of protoplasmic astrocyte. This is the nucleus of fibrous astrocyte. It is oval, large, pale stain. This is medium in size, small, almost rounded, and dense in staining properties. So this is the difference of nucleus of protoplasmic astrocyte and fibrous astrocyte. Both are collectively called as astrocyte and dendrocyte. So a nucleus is also different. That was shown in the tabular form. This is the method of learning and teaching, and you must know how I am teaching you. Now, this is the cytoplasmic process. Many short and thick, many long and slender fibrous astrocyte, few short beaded. So, cytoplasmic process, few short beaded, short thin and spinous, microglia, short thin and spinous. I will show you the microglia. Short, thin and processor like one. This is large in size. This is projection from the oligodendrocyte. This is one projection. This is one projection. This is one projection. How their projections are different. So how these projections? They are sharp, thin. They are sharp, thin. So this projection. How this projection? This projection is long, slender. So like that. The projections, cytoplasmic projections, because this is nothing but a cell. This is nothing but a cell. Center nucleus is there. So this cytoplasm extends as projections. So this is covered by a cell membrane that is called neurolemma. Cell membrane of the neuron is microglia is neuron is neurolemma. This is cell membrane of the neuroglia. So the cell membrane projects as a process. So the cytoplasmic process also differs. Now cytoplasm, granular, fibrillar. So situation. So this is protoplasmic astrocytes are more in grey matter, fibrous astrocytes are more in white matter. So oligodendrocytes are present in white matter. So microglia, grey and white matter. Because microglia, they are phagocytosis. Any foreign body or any bacteria or virus enters the nervous system. These will go and attack it and engulf it and digest it and remove it from the nervous system and prevents damage to the nervous system by the foreign material, bacteria, virus or anything. So protoplasmic astrocytes and fibrous astrocytes, blood-brain barrier system. They are associated with blood-brain barrier system, BBB. I will show you. Because this is a blood vessel, this is a fibrous astrocyte, this is protoplasmic astrocyte. They are attached to the blood vessel. So these are all associated with the blood-brain barrier. So BBB mechanism means all things does not go from blood vessel into the central nervous system. Selectively, certain things will enter into the central nervous system. The material of the nervous system from the blood vessel. So this type of selective entry of material from the blood vessels into the nervous tissue is called blood-brain barrier system. This system of maintenance is called as blood-brain barrier system. Because these two are associated with blood vessels, these are concerned with blood-brain barrier system. Whereas oligodendrocytes, they are concerned with axon and myelin sheath. So they are myelination associated. This is microglia, they are present in your nervous system, they are associated with phagocytosis. Ependymal cells lining the cavities of the central nervous system, ventricles, ventricular cavities, and also the spinal canal. So they have got cilia. They facilitate the propagate the flow of cerebrospinal fluid, propagate the flow of cerebrospinal fluid. So depending upon the situation, their function is also different. Embryological origin. So, protoplasmic astrocytes and fibrous astrocytes arise from neural crust. Oligodendrocytes also arise from neural crust. Whereas this arises, the microglia arises from the mesoderm. So, ectoderm, mesoderm, endoderm, three layers are there. Microglia arises from the mesoderm, whereas all these three arises from the neural crest. So, majority of the central nervous system, major part of the central nervous system comes from the ectodermal layer only. So, this is the embryological origin difference. So, protoplasmic astrocytes and oligodendrocytes are associated with neural crest, whereas the microglia are associated with mesoderm. Now, grey matter and white matter. Grey matter is part of nervous tissue containing the cell body, soma, neuroglial cells, and abundance of blood vessels. It is called cortex. White matter only fibers, axons, dendrites, neuroglial cells, and fewer blood vessels. No neurons are present in the white matter. Part of nervous system, clinical anatomy, brain tumors. So you have to study the brain tumors. So neuroglial tumors are most common when compared with other tumors of the brain. So sympathetic ganglia, it is a ganglia of sympathetic nervous system. They deliver information to the body about stress and impending danger. They contain approximately 20,000 to 30,000 cell bodies and located close to or either side of spinal cord in long chains. They are ventral bilaterally symmetrical extends from neck to coccyx. Now this is the cord. This is the spinal cord. This is the sympathetic chain. This is the spinal cord present in the vertebral column. This is the spinal cord present in the vertebral column. Thoracic vertebral levels, lumbar vertebral cells named, coccyx named. This is cervical. So this is the sympathetic chain present on either side of the vertebral column. So these are connections. So this is sympathetic ganglia. So the beaded appearance of the sympathetic chain, they are nothing but ganglia. So from the here, post-ganglionic sympathetic fibers arise. So these are pre-ganglionic sympathetic fibers. These are all the effective organs, visceral organs. From here they are going. This is ciliary trunk, this is superior mesenteric, this is inferior mesenteric. Now spinal ganglia are so I had given you everything in the PowerPoint presentation. Spinal ganglion or dorsal nerve root ganglion. It is a cluster of neurons in a dorsal root of spinal nerve. Where it is present, I will show you. So this is the dorsal root of spinal cord. This is ventral root of the spinal cord. Now this is the dorsal root ganglion. This bulging is called spinal ganglion or dorsal root ganglion. This dorsal root is sensory. So this is sensory. This is preganglionic. This is postganglionic. Now this is sympathetic trunk. This is associated with on either side of the vertebral column. So you must practice this diagram. Cell bodies of sensory neurons known as first order neurons located in the dorsal root ganglion. Whatever the neurons present in the dorsal root ganglion are first order neurons. Axons or dorsal root ganglion neurons are called afferents. They carry sensory information to CNS, brain and spinal cord. The dorsal root ganglion lies in intravertebral foramina. The dorsal root ganglion develops in embryo from neural cells, not neural tube. Hence, the spinal ganglion may be considered as a grey matter. Dorsal root ganglion lies in the intravertebral foramina. Sympathetic trunk lies on either side of the vertebral column. So, dorsal root ganglion lies in the intravertebral foramina. Spinal vertebral sympathetic trunk lies on either side of the vertebral column. It is outside, that is inside. The nerve endings of dorsal root ganglion neurons have a variety of sensory receptors. They are mechanical receptors, thermal receptors, chemical receptors, and noxious stimuli. This is the dorsal root ganglion. Various receptors, mechanical receptors, thermal receptors, chemical receptors, noxious stimuli. So various types of mechanical receptor. If anybody touches body, mechanical occurs. If any heart or something produces falls on the body, so thermal stimulation occurs. Any chemical substance, irritation occurs. Noxious substance stimuli also irritation will occur. So this is the completion of neuroanatomy. Today's class is continuation of the yesterday's class. Girish will send you the PowerPoint presentation and you read it. Your revision courses are also completed. You have to prepare for the final examination and third internal assessment. Thank you very much.